All right, so one thing that I do for my clients is that I give them a home buyer's guide that will guide you through each step of the way. You're hearing from lenders, you are hearing from title people, you're hearing from insurance, you're hearing home inspections. So let me just kind of put that all together in a book for you as a home buyer so that you, oh man, I've had a lot of information today. Let's go back and look at some of these things. So when a person calls me and says, hey Kathy, I want to buy a house, the first thing I do is say, oh great, I'm glad you called. Have you been pre-approved? So you've heard from JR about what pre-approval looks like. So typically what happens is that then I communicate with your lender and then we start looking at houses. You know that every person nowadays, this was on that podcast I was listening to earlier, every person starts their home search on the internet. So you're looking at the Zillow, you're looking at realtor.com, you're looking at social media, you're listening to people and hearing where they are finding their homes. Then you're going to send it to me and say, hey, what about this one on 123 Lake Street? And I'm going to look up 123 Lake Street and we can set some appointments. And we can do that. We can do one day, we can go look at one house. We can go the next afternoon to another one, or we can set up 4 or 5 in one day and go look at several and make our decisions. But a lot of information can be found online. You can find your floor plans, you can find the location, the maps, you can find everything like that. So once you make that decision, you're like, okay, this one's it. What do we do next? That's when I pull out an agreement. It's a purchase agreement. That's it. Sorry about that. It's a purchase agreement, and we fill all of that out online, or I still have people that I printed out, and we write everything in, and we sign it with a pen, and that's okay too. But what we do is we fill that out. I'm going to need to know your full names, your legal names, and we're going to need to know who your lender's going to be. I'm going to put the title company down. My name's going to go on there. But the main thing that we're going to need to know is how much you're going to pay for this price, how much you're going to offer the seller for this house. Then we're also going to need to talk about your earnest money, which is the amount of money that you're going to put into escrow. The title company will hold that money, and that'll go towards the purchase of your house. Okay, but this is just a good faith that, hey, I'm willing to put in, let's say $2,500. You're just going to hold that, and I'm not going to be able to touch that money for a month. That's just in good faith that that's how serious I am about buying your house. We're also going to put in contingencies. You may have, well, you're a first-time home buyer, but just in case you're not, you may have a home to sell. Well, you can't buy this house without selling this one. So we need to put that in as a contingency. Your finances will be a contingency that, yes, you're going to be able to get the final finances, and we're going to hear that clear to close from your lender. Then you're also going to want to have an inspection period, and you've heard about inspections from Jason, and know that we're going to find out whatever is wrong with the house. And once we find that out, we can negotiate some more tactics if we need to and pull in how we can get the seller to fix those items. So that's what goes into giving an offer. We will give them 24 hours to respond. You're not under contract until the seller agrees to it, or they may come back with a counteroffer, and then we'll sit down and talk about that. Once we get everybody in agreement, we will sign that. We will do what is called binding it, and then you will be under contract for that house. And that's when we start to celebrate.